12 News, electronic pull tabs for a new Viking stadium are a go, but are local bars and restaurants buying in? Then, a New Hope gun range receives national attention for its so-called Bin Laden experience. But first, peeling the skin off Tater Days.
If we have a loss in this, it means we're not taking in enough money, we're not doing something right.
Is Brooklyn Park's premier festival worth the price? 12 News starts right now. Brooklyn Park's Tater Days Festival might be fun, but it's expensive.
Every year, the June event runs in the red, and now some city council members are questioning whether the city-run festival is worth the price. Reporter Shannon Slatton has more. Shannon?
Mike and Alexandra, let's start with looking at the numbers. In 2012, the Tater Days Festival cost around $86,000, $150. Most of that expense is overtime for maintenance, police, and other staff members. The city budgets $30,000 for the festival. Volunteers solicit donations and have fundraisers to make up the rest, but when they fall short, the city makes up the difference.
The Brooklyn Park ambassadors.
As Brooklyn Park watches, the Tater Days parade stretches on, sometimes for hours. The parade also stretches the Tater Days budget. The parade is the second biggest expense for the city's annual festival.
We're trying to find some different things that are going to enhance Tater Days, give us more of a signature for people to come out and to look forward to.
Volunteer Tate Turnquist coordinates the festival.
That's my goal in the next few years, is to make Tater Days a profitable thing, and we don't have to necessarily rely so much on the city. It's going to take a lot of work, but that's my goal.
But that's easier said than done. City festivals generally aren't profitable, and this one isn't either.
I would like to see this to be as close to zero as possible.
Some council members say the extra expense might not be worth it.
If we have a loss in this, it means we're not taking in enough money, we're not doing something right. We have a loss. We're not making money on something. And as a council, we need to decide whether or not that's right or not. I'm not excited about having a $10,000 loss every year. That's more money coming out of our general fund budget.
This year, once all donations are collected, the city is expected to pay $6,000 extra, but that's less than the original $15,000 estimate. Some city council members point out the festival brings a value to the community that cannot be measured in dollars.
I think if we say, if we're going to have to underwrite this for $5 or $10 grand, let's get rid of it. It's a big piece of community identity. Maybe we don't do enough potato stuff at Tater Days, but it's still something that we're getting 8,000 to 12,000 people to come to for a weekend.
I think all of us up here would like to see the least amount of city money go into it as possible and still have it be successful.
It's also worthwhile to point out that there are two factors that contribute to the festival budget that really cannot be controlled. First, the event depends upon good weather, and second, donations depend upon a good economy. And of course, Mike and Alex, we haven't heard the end of this. Expect this to come up again at the end of October when the city starts talking about the budget. City Council starts talking about the budget.
All right, thanks a lot, Shannon. Treasures of the Jungle and Big Money Heist. Those are a couple of the electronic pull tab games you can expect to see in local bars.
Lawmakers are counting on the electronic games to help pay for the Viking Stadium. Electronic pull tabs are expected to pay for $348 million of the stadium's $975 million total cost. The Vikings will pay $477 million. The city of Minneapolis would chip in $150 million. But it's the pull tabs that are the unknown. And as Renee Bonneau reports, some local bars and restaurants aren't ready to bet on them just yet.
Up on the counter here, we have 8 games.
Pull tab players at the Golden Valley VFW certainly have some choices.
What we have in today is a game called PBR, a game called Bananas, we have a game called Cherries.
And plenty are buying in. Pull tab sales here generate about $10,000 a month for charity, whether it's helping veterans or supporting a local sports team.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Tuesday, the field of pull tab games in the state got a little wider.
So what we're doing right now is loading one of the 5 games. You can see how it looks.
And a lot more high tech.
So I'll scroll through. Here's a game called Mystic Sevens.
The Minnesota Gambling Control Board approved the first electronic pull tab games created by the Las Vegas-based company Acres 4.0.
The legislature gave the direction to the board to go forward with this game format, establish the game standards, the equipment standards. We did all that in record time.
So far, Acres 4.0 is the only company licensed by the Gambling Control Board, but they won't be the only ones for long.
There's some new vendors that are going through the review process, the background checks. want to make sure that they're good to go once they come to Minnesota.
I think our customers, some of our customers would try it.
The Golden Valley VFWs talked about introducing electronic pull tabs, but like their customers, they want to see more variety first.
Basically only one vendor right at this time selling the equipment, and we kind of thinking to take a wait and see attitude till we can maybe have a choice of vendors.
While some restaurants and bars are already offering the virtual pull tabs, the VFW's gambling manager says he's okay with making them the guinea pig.
Those people are going to be the roadmap, and and if it works and goes over big, then there's no telling how we might go.
The Golden Valley VFW says their customers aren't clamoring to try the electronic pull tabs, and that's why they're not rushing to get it. The gambling manager tells me if they do decide to get it, it probably won't happen for at least 6 months. Meantime, Mike and Alex, 5 restaurants have already debuted the electronic pull tabs. I'm told more places should be unveiling them by the end of the week.
All right, Renee, thank you very much. He served as a Robbinsdale Cooper school principal during the 1970s and 1980s. Now a community memorial service is being planned to remember Elmer Kempinen.
And the longtime Robbinsdale district teacher, coach, and principal died recently at the age of 87. The Cooper Media Center is dedicated to Kempinen. Jim Knight and John Lloyd both worked with him at the high school. They say he was the kind of leader who knew how to get people to work together.
He really paid attention to the things that were going to make this a good school. He wanted to make sure everybody got here. He wanted to make sure everybody learned, and they did their best.
The public memorial service will be held at Cooper High School Auditorium on Saturday, September 29th.
In other news, the city of Plymouth may apply for a Hennepin Youth Sports Grant to help pay for a proposed training facility at the city's ice arena. The training facility would be a public-private partnership involving the Wayzata Youth Hockey Association. The project would cost close to $1 million. Although the project is driven by hockey needs, the training facility is meant for all sports. A similar project is underway at the Edina Ice Arena.
A New Hope gun range is getting national attention for letting customers recreate the assault that killed Osama bin Laden. 12 News featured Sealed Mindset in New Hope about a year ago. Now the business is getting national attention in the New York Times. Sealed Mindset started the bin Laden military raid experience in July. The cost is $325 per person for 2 hours of Navy SEAL training. The business is run by Larry Yatch, a retired Navy SEAL who served in Iraq. He says the bin Laden experience gives people a realistic glance at what it took to complete the mission. Coming up, a health check for your pet.
Some things to think about for your pet's diet. And then later in sports, we check in with the Prairie Seeds Academy boys soccer team, which is rolling through the competition.
But first, it's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. In today's health check, how maintaining a healthy weight is as important for pets as it is for people.
Dwayne Cleveland shows us some things that pet owners should know.
On a cool morning at the Plymouth Dog Park, Tyler Woodhull's dog, Shelby, enjoys some time outdoors socializing with his furry friends.
That's a great day. Good weather. A lot of friendly dogs here.
Woodhull brings Shelby here whenever he has free time to make sure she's getting enough exercise.
Dogs can get overweight and they can live a sedentary lifestyle just like us, so yeah, it's just as important for the dogs as for us.
Talk to any veterinarian and they'll tell you just how important it is to prevent your pet from becoming overweight.
It's probably the biggest medical problem we see in animals. I would say 50% or so of pets are obese.
And Dr. Jerry Smith says obesity can lead to a number of health problems such as diabetes and osteoarthritis.
So the best thing you can do for your pet is to get it some exercise, get it to play with a toy, give it some kind of low-calorie treats, and try and keep it at an optimal body weight.
For help on a pet's diet, we turn to the experts at Chuck and Don's Pet Food Outlet in Plymouth.
Diet's actually going to be probably one of the most important things because the dogs and cats are going to have access to their food all the time, so you want to make sure you're feeding them the right food for their age, their weight, and their activity level.
Pet owners can do that by paying close attention to food labels.
Looking at the calorie content of treats is another really good option for getting the dog to start losing a little bit of weight and just focusing on the calories more in general.
Millard also suggests a number of chews and toys to keep the pet active while they're inside the house, especially during the winter months. As for Woodhull, he plans to keep his dog active this winter, regardless of the outdoor temperature.
I bundle up, throw a jacket on her, and bring her out here and tough it out. She loves it.
In Plymouth, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
And if you're curious to know just where your pet falls on the obesity scale, we've included a link to a body condition chart. You can find it on our website, 12.tv. Well, coming up, a jolly old effort that General Mills is taking to get kids to eat their veggies.
But first in sports, Osseo's volleyball team learns on the fly against tough competition. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
John Jacobson with sports now, and a team to watch on the soccer field. Actually, they have been for the past couple of years. They're not surprising anybody now, though.
No, they don't really catch anyone off guard, and a tough team to beat, that is for sure. Despite its small size, Prairie Seeds Academy has quickly become a boys' soccer power. The Lycans were Class A champions 2 years ago and runner-up last fall. As Jay Wilcox reports, it's another talented team at Prairie Seeds this fall.
There's talent across the field for the Prairie Seeds Lycans, and there's a relentless pursuit of excellence as they strive to work together to move the ball with ease.
It's really important because once we progress on to the next level, which we all aspire to, you have to do things together. You can't just do things by yourself. So every guy knows that everybody's good, so you have to work together.
Prairie Seeds is unbeaten and unchallenged so far, scoring in double figures in many games. They'd prefer a tougher schedule, but finding teams that are willing to play them isn't always easy.
I would like to play tough schools, obviously. We've done in the past that. We've proved that in the past. But, it's been hard. There's no question about it. And, it's not fair to PSA soccer players or other schools. If you want to, get the kids to play high-level soccer, you should play high-level teams.
And staying sharp in those lopsided games is a challenge.
Yeah, we definitely have to work hard still, to maintain that, maintain good habits, don't fall under bad habits.
If we're playing a team that's maybe not as good technically as us, then we'd still have to do what we practice in training just to make sure we're sharp for when a good team goes around that we're playing our best.
They know that stiffer competition will come at playoff time. The Lycans say they'll be ready. Jay Wilcox, 12 Sports.
Prairie Seeds Academy hosts Concordia Academy of Roseville on Thursday. Well, the Lycans find themselves at the top of the state rankings this week. PSA is ranked #1 among Class A schools in Minnesota. St. Paul Academy is ranked 2nd. Once beaten Totino Grace is #3 with Rochester Lords 4th. Defending state champion Benilde St. Margaret's is ranked 10th. 2 local teams are rated in the top 10 in Class AA for the first time in several years for these teams. Champlin Park ranked 3rd and Park Center 5th. North St. Paul is ranked #1 in AA. In Class AA girls soccer, Lakeville North is rated #1 with Burnsville 2nd. Maple Grove is the only local team in the top 10. The 8th-ranked Crimson play 4th-ranked Andover on Thursday. And in Class A girls soccer, it's Benilde St. Margaret's #1 this week. Last year's state champion Blake is rated 2nd. Totino Grace is 3rd with Orono ranked 4th. It's been an interesting first month of the season for the Osseo volleyball team. The Orioles have swept 3 of the 4 conference opponents they faced in the Northwest Suburban, losing to conference favorite Blaine and 4 in the other league match. But they're 7-5 overall, facing a mixture of pretty solid opponents from the Twin Cities and beyond.
Yes, it's always fun to have competition because those are the best games and you get to work your hardest at those games, and that's why we play volleyball, because we love working hard.
Well, we're definitely not quite in mid-season form yet. We do have a tough non-conference schedule early, but no excuses. I think there's a few matches in there if we play our game that we should win, but it's a learning process, trying to get better every day.
The Orioles get back into conference play Thursday against Andover, the conference runner-up last fall. Included in the 3-1 start in the conference for Osseo, a sweep of arch rival Maple Grove last week.
Beating Maple Grove is always really fun, and but it was
It was pretty close in the third game, but I was happy we beat them in 3. I love having the close game with them, but I didn't like the stress.
Last week was rivalry week with the Pirates and the Crimson, and it always feels good to come out of their home gym with a win.
Osseo hosts Andover Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And those rivalry games are always big ones. You always want to beat those teams.
A little more fun to play, too. Thanks a lot, John. Today in Local Vote 2012, 2 candidates looking to represent Robbinsdale and parts of Golden Valley, Crystal, and New Hope.
It is House District 45B, and since Senator Peterson has decided not to run for re-election for health reasons, there is no incumbent in this race. Republican Reed Johnson is running against DFL candidate Mike Freiberg.
My name is Mike Freiberg. My wife Lauren and I are expecting our second child soon, and I want Minnesota to be a state my children can be proud of, where they can reach their fullest potential. Although we've had great legislators in our district, their work has been hampered in the last 2 years by a legislature with the wrong priorities. Rather than focusing on what is important to Minnesota, the legislature has adopted divisive constitutional amendments, shut down state government, and stole money from our kids to balance the budget. If elected, my first priority would be paying back our schools and increasing investments in education. I hope you'll consider voting for Mike Freiberg for state representative on November 6th.
Hi, I'm Reed Johnson, and I'm running for state representative in 45B, which represents Robbinsdale, Crystal, Golden Valley, and New Hope. My wife Chris and I live in Robbinsdale with our 2 sons who attend public schools in District 281. I will work in an effective, bipartisan fashion by making and keeping a job-friendly state, by reducing taxes and getting rid of roadblocks by streamlining government. These are my key goals: reducing spending, improving education, strengthening healthcare, and of course, growing jobs. I'm not a career politician. I do not belong to any special interest groups. To find out more about me, please visit reedjohnsonforhouse.com. Please vote for me on November 6th. Thank you.
And 2 more legislative candidates coming up tomorrow. Still ahead, a blast from the past returns for a giant marketing mission.
We're back in just a moment.
Finally, 2 characters making a comeback.
They are mascots being called out of retirement to help market food. Golden Valley-based General Mills is bringing back the Jolly Green Giant to help attract more attention to its vegetable products. The Jolly Green Giant hasn't been seen in 8 years. It was first used as a marketing tool back in 1928. And General Mills is really going old school to help sell more Cheerios. Ad Age reports that the Cheerios Kid is coming out of exile. You have to go back to the 1950s and 60s when the Cheerio Kids last made their appearance. And re-emerging from the crypt in time for the Halloween season, General Mills rolls out its monster cereals too, Frankenberry and Count Chocula.
And Blueberry.
And Blueberry as well. Sorry, forgot about that one.
I don't even know him. I
We'll
guess we'll
wait
find
and
out.
see. That does it for us. Thanks for joining us.